Good morning.
Morning.
Children of God. And welcome those of you who have joined us on Facebook or who will be listening to us a little bit later on Facebook. Thank you so much for being here this morning. That song was perfect and brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
They called me or sent me a text, Chris did, and wanted to know what we were doing this morning, and I said we're doing the new member ceremony. And he said, oh, we're going to change the songs out. And that was a perfect song. Because indeed, the people who love you are waiting for you right here. This is the Jubilee. Thank you. So, how many of you remember the day or what you were doing when Challengers exploded?
When what?
Challenger. How many of you remember or know what you were doing when the Twin Towers went down? How many of you remember the very first time you fell in love and you were kissed by that person you loved for the very first time? Too long ago. They're back there shaking their heads like, oh! Exactly. There are times in our lives of deep emotional impact. Whether it was something that was positive that happened or something that was negative, there are deep emotional impacts that stay with us for a lifetime. How many of you remember where you were or when it was when you first heard a New Thought message? The message of unity or the message of Signs of Mind, the message that there is only one God and we are one with that Spirit of God. That we don't believe in duality. There's no such thing. And once we heard those words, we knew we were finally home. We were finally home. We were home from a journey we didn't even know we were on. We didn't even know we were on it until we arrived. And we were finally home. Glenn tells a story, and I'm not going to tell the big story because it's his story to tell, but it's a lovely story about him and his granddaughter out to lunch one day. And they saw this egg, duck egg, hatch. And the baby stuck its head out, and there were no other ducks around. So they picked the duck up to try and find its parents and its siblings. And the duck jumped out of their hands, of the baby, of the granddaughter's hands, and went on its way because it heard the sound of its tribe, of its family, of its mother calling. It was a strange sound. That duck, that baby, knew what it was and jumped out of their hands and went home. And that's what happens when we belong. When we are somewhere where we belong and we finally know that we are home. And so today, I want to talk to you about belonging. And I'm not going to talk long because this is a day of celebration and ceremony. But I do want to say this very quickly and talk to you about belonging and what does it mean to belong to something, someone, a community. And how do we know? Because it's like coming home. And what's it like to be home? We talked about this morning that Moores and I have known each other for well over 20 years, 25 years. And the moment we met each other, there was something there in our hearts. We spoke heart to heart to one another. We've been friends ever since. It's not about where we are, whether we're in the same country. We pick right back up whenever we see each other because our hearts speak to one another. I had this girlfriend, you guys know about my time living in Thailand. Was overseas in Asia for 11 years, but in Thailand for 6. And when I first got to Thailand, I always, whenever I go someplace new, I look for my tribe. And my tribe are musicians and singers. That's what I am. So I always look in the town for the singers and the musicians. So where they were was in this little central area. And I was looking for a place to stay, and they told me to go to a place in Rawai, which is in the south. The island is long, like California, so there's north, the middle, and the south. So I found a place in the south. And I was performing at a resort, was in the north, in the middle part. And this woman walked in, just really a gorgeous Thai woman, long, beautiful hair. She had a whole entourage around her. There had to be 30 people with her. They all just walked in this place. They went out. It was a big, wonderful place to eat and have wine. And then they had a beautiful balcony where you could go out and see, look out. So they all just walked through like they owned the place and went out to the patio. So on my break from the band, she came up to me. She had been dancing, and her group had come out. They were dancing. She came up to me and she said, "We're going to have cigars and wine out to the patio. Come on out." All right. So I went out with her, and she said, Where are you new? I've never seen you. I said, "No, I just got here." And she said, "Where do you live?" And I said, "Oh, I live in Rawai, in the south." She said, "Oh, hell no. No. Nobody lives down there. You're coming with me. And I'm going to find you a place that's decent for you to live." Well, all right. Thank you so much. And she did. That weekend, she got her lady boy, who was her assistant, and they found me a fabulous place up in the north where most of my work actually ended up being. But when she and I got together, and she is still my ride or die. I met her one night, and we were like that from the entire time I was there, and still now. She lives in Australia now, and I live here, and we still contact one another. My point is this: when your heart is home, you know. That's what home is like. Where people see you and you speak heart to heart. That's home. That's belonging. That's what belonging here is all about. That's what we do. So I want to say to you all, welcome home. Okay, come on. Come in for a group hug. That's what we do. Welcome home. We're always here. We're always accepted. We are never alone. Belonging means that you are never alone. It means that you are accepted by your tribe and accepting of others in the tribe. That's what belonging is. That's what we do. We have a human need for connection and inclusion because it brings us happiness and peace when we are someplace where we belong, where our hearts beat as one. Some people believe and feel they have a connection to all people and to all humanity, and that is true. When we are at peace and we are connected and we belong, we are included. Inclusion means accepting, understanding, respecting one another and each other's ideas, that we are welcoming and that we celebrate one another and we support one another through whatever we're going through. That is what inclusion and connection and belonging is. We are a community of inclusion. We reflect the culture and the interests of our groups and all of those who are looking for us. This is what we do here. We just recently created some committees that a number of us are on, and we will be doing some more things because as we're looking out in the community, here's what I know. When we first were talking together as a group and we were deciding whether or not Glenn and Pat wanted to step down, they'd been here a wonderful 8 years and their time of service was finished. And when we were looking at several different people to talk about who the leader would be here. And when we talked about how are we going to, what's going to happen next? What is the next phase for Harmony Spiritual Center? And here's what I know for sure. As long as we stay true to our truth, to who we are, inclusive, diverse, looking to and accept and be accepting of all those who want to be here with us. That's all we have to do. The law of attraction will do the rest. As we know who we are and we live that truth, and we do have to let people know we're here, right? I mean, as we let people know that we're here, our truth and the law of attraction will draw them to us. That's all we have to do is be true to our community, to what we know to be true, and let our hearts beat. We are CB radios. receivers and senders. The people looking for us feel us. We're sending out that vibe. That's what we do. That's who we are. And I am so, so glad to be here and to be a part of this wonderful, beautiful, and loving community. Acceptance is key. We have to accept one another and those walking through the door. One of the things I know, being a woman, being a black woman, being a minority, whatever that minority might be, whenever you're walking into a place, and I talked with you about me walking into that classroom at SMU and not thinking that I saw my tribe because I'm looking for the color. But in fact, they were my tribe because we were all writers. Okay? So we're accepting and we're looking to see how are we the same. So when people walk through the door, that's what we do, right? We're all just hugging and loving. And that's something that people say the moment they walk through the door, the love. We feel the love here because it's real and authentic. Thank you. Thank you for being those people. We are in the universe and we are the universe. And that, in and of itself, tells you why we belong. We are children of God. There's no other way for us to be. We are who we are, and we belong here together. We are a community of loving spirits. Community is spirit saying to us, we come here, and we talk a lot, obviously, as I'm looking at different ministers and different leaders in the spiritual capacity and in this spiritual realm, talking about what it is that we're trying to do. Spirit tells us we're here together. It's not about the religion. It really isn't. Because laws work. The universal laws work. If you put a thought in mind, it's going to come out, be put into spirit, and be manifested. Whatever your religious beliefs are, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. Religion is about finding your tribe and a group of people who know God like you do. The God of your understanding. That's what religion is for. Okay? Spirituality transcends all of religion. Okay? And we're talking about spirituality here. That's what we do. But we are a community here. When Spirit is saying we join a community, we are not alone. When I stepped into the Science of Mind Church in San Diego in 1995, I knew I was home. And I had found like minds and hearts who understood the same God I understood. The same God is simply our understanding. And how we show up, how God shows up in our lives, how we allow God to show up. That's what we do here as a community. So we are not alone. And our community, all of us, remind each other of who we are, who we've always been. We support each other in celebration, which we're doing today. We support each other in triumphs. We support each other in sorrow. Because we know the truth that we are one and that all is well. That is the truth, and we hold that light for all of you, for each other. We hold that light. We know that's to be the truth. So, we are a loving community. What we know is that we create heaven on earth. That's who we are. Namaste. We're not going to do the music just yet. We're going to do it.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. We're getting ready to celebrate new members. We actually, I'm going to read them off. We have several that are going to be members, or are members, but they're not here today. So we're very blessed to have Allie Lovejoy and Brett Lovejoy.
Come up with this picture,
Mary Winter and Tracy Reeves.
Please come up. Mary, please come. No, Brett's okay.
No.
Oh, really?
You and me micromanaging?
Oh, man, I want a sideline view of that. Very special. But I ain't getting into
Anyway,
it.
we're so very grateful and blessed, and I'd like to call up David McMurray, Terry Smith, Pat Moore.
Joe, I'm gonna do Joe. I'm Joe. I'm
And
stick to Joe.
Reverend PJ. Got that? Okay, so,
Who? No, we're good.
we're good. The chaplains are all here with us. We also have other members were Walter and Shannon and May and Kiefer Comus, and they couldn't be here today, so it's very exciting to get some younger folks in too, isn't it?
You guys ready to do it? Okay. It's, okay, so I can start. So we're doing the chaplain
Yeah,
right
yes.
now? Okay, so I'm gonna move forward. I'm your chaplain for the day. Step forward. So simply what we're doing is each one of our new members was assigned a chaplain, and we will just have a word for them to bless you. So we just have a word for you. So my word for you today was decisiveness. Because when I spoke with you about becoming a member, you had said you've been moving around and doing some things, and you just decide, I'm just going to do this right now. I'm going to decide to do it. And so I know that Spirit is always with you, and that decision is Spirit-led. We are so grateful that you are here today. Thank you so much for deciding to be with us. We love you. We appreciate you, and we see you. We know that you are a tribal member. So it is. Thank you.
I have two words. Very simple. Committed and determined. And I've seen that since you first showed up here. You came on a Rock and Soul Sunday. You loved it. And the following Tuesday, you showed up to choir. And you've been here ever since. And so I see that determination and that commitment in you, Allie. And we are blessed to have you here. We are so blessed. And I see the light of God in you. I see the love of God in you. I see your eyes right now with beautiful eyes, bluish, grayish, with light coming out. So I'm blessed to have you seeing me.
I'm the one that hounded her till she came.
Thank you, Gail.
Would y'all say their name first?
Okay, sorry. That's very good. This is Tracy Reeves. We're going to introduce him at the end too, as well. But
Allie Lovejoy.
Allie Lovejoy.
Brett Lovejoy.
Brett Lovejoy, my friend. I have two words for you.
Just rule breakers.
Love and, I'm a rule breaker, aren't you? Love and support. From the day she came and sat in the back, she was always back there, and I was going, who's she connected to? Who's she? Because I just am that way. But I found out that she was connected to Allie, and their special bond is so amazing. And the love that I see, she sits back there and just, so I of course turn around and go, oh, come on, we're going to sing. But she sat back there and just supported, and the love radiates from you. Your support is both internal and external. You have that special spark that is totally love. We welcome you here. You are part of us. Really. I want you to know that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We love you. We support you. You are a part of us.
And Mary Winter. Mary Winter. Here.
courageous to even venture out of the womb and march through life, learning whatever lessons that came to you, faced with bravery and courage, and now we are blessed to have you. We love you so much. You are already a participant in so many things before you made this courageous decision to be part of this tribe. We love you, we bless you, and we behold the Christ in you.
Yes. Yes. Again, our members, our new members, Tracy Reeves, Allie Lovejoy, Brett Lovejoy, and Mary Winter. Can we give them a round of applause, please? So many gifts. Deciding to become a member of Harmony Spiritual Center is a profound life choice. Celebrating that choice is one of our 4 cornerstones of building a spiritual home. Play, pray, eat, and celebrate. While many guests to our home choose to remain long-term attenders, others choose to make a larger commitment of support for Harmony Spiritual Center's mission, vision, and purpose of joyously inclusive, spiritually enlightening, and life-transforming by becoming active members. And today, we honor and celebrate with our new member ritual. A community such as Harmony Spiritual Center is a highly practical solution for anyone seeking the truest and deepest meaning for their lives. Our first duty is always to self-discovery. And as we each seek, discover, and come to a greater understanding of our individual selves, it is only right and the next evolutionary step in a spiritual life to want to be part of a community that is inclusive, that is spiritually enlightening, and whose well-being is predicated on the understanding of oneness, connection, and service. With this as the ideal for Harmony Spiritual Center, I am indeed confident in the upward evolution of the collective consciousness towards a more connected, harmonious, and a peaceful world. We thank each of you for blessing Harmony Spiritual Center with your presence. All of you, we thank you. We are so glad and honored to have you here today, having made the deeply personal commitment of joining this community of like minds. As members in good standing, we commission you to carry forth the mission of Harmony Spiritual Center, affirming spirit as our source, and abiding by the principles of inclusiveness, integrity, humility, compassion, transparency, and generosity. If you accept this commission, please respond by saying yes.
Yes.
Thank you and welcome. Okay.
So just one more thing, and then David's going to pray us out, and we're going to bless people. I just to introduce you all to make sure everyone
Yes.
knows who the board members are. I'm Rebecca Lau. I'm the president right now. And we have Carter Tiernan. And we
Please
have
stand when she calls your name. Please stand.
David McMurray, Frankie Andrew, Joe Greenslade, Connie Anderson, and Venice Rimble. And Tim Hall couldn't be here today. Go good?
All right.
Great. So if you need anything, you can contact any of us or our chaplains, and we're just so grateful and blessed to have you all with us now.
Thank you so much.
So I'm inviting the congregation to rise. And just feast
Yes.
under radiant light. Each new person here is, because this is how we evolve. New people. Any organization continues to need new people. And this is how we're going to continue to evolve. And so, just repeat after me. We recognize the light of God in you.
We recognize the light of God in you.
We recognize the love of God that enfolds you.
We recognize the love of God that enfolds you.
We are aware that you are love in action.
We are aware that you are love in action.
And we are blessed to have you as part of our Harmony Spiritual Center family.
And we are blessed to have you as part of our Harmony Spiritual Center family.
So it is.
And so it is. Thank you. All right, so we'll have the offering party and the music.
Yeah, got it? Yeah. All right.
Now, will you join me as we give our tithes and offerings? Divine love.